What do you think is symbolic of British culture? Is it the amount of tea they drink? Korea, however, is not famous for drinking tea, but it has one of the longest tea histories in the world. You may think coffee is the most popular beverage worldwide. However, it is not true. Tea is the most consumed drink in the world after water.
Do you like tea?
Yeah.
Oh, I love tea.
Yeah, I quite like tea.
Yeah, I like tea.
I love tea.
Yes, I love tea.
Yes, I like tea. It's very relaxing when you drink it and tastes good.
It sells nearly twice as much as coffee and even more than bottled water. About 165 million cups of tea is drunk every day in the UK, and it is about 4.28 pounds of loose tea leaves consumed every year, which surpasses the consumption of other big tea drinking nations. Then, since when did British begin to drink such a large amount of tea?
I think it's just ingrained in people. I think people have always done it.
I think because it's become a tradition that people have grown up drinking tea for many generations. So from a small age we drink tea.
I guess it's a historical thing, probably back to the days of the Empire, when Britain had a presence in many foreign countries, tea and coffee producing countries as well. So I guess that it's been, historically, tea has been something that has been brought to Britain, and it just is part and parcel of our culture.
I think it's ancestry. It's going right the way back through generations and generations in history, and tea was so expensive that it became like the thing to do. If you drank tea, it showed you had money.
This is true. Tea was so expensive due to the high taxation imposed from 1689 until the new Prime Minister, William Pitt, called it off in 1784. So smuggling and adulteration were popular. People mixed tea leaves with the leaves from other plants or leaves that had been already brewed before because of this. However, this still doesn't explain how tea became popular in Britain. Let's go back a little bit more.
To say what year or exactly what time, but it looks like it was like early or mid 17th century. And that was also the time that Europe started to trade with Asia, first by the Portuguese, the Spanish, and later the Dutch and English. They all set up different East India companies, and that was brought back to Europe as kind of oriental luxury products and then be popular among the up class. It's a fashionable thing for the merchants and also aristocrats, and then certainly Britain would be part of that to fancy those oriental luxury products.
In the 17th century, when the British East India Company dominated tea and other foreign goods imported to Britain, British people had a constant and growing supply of tea, and therefore tea became popular all over the country. Some people say Catherine of Braganza was a huge tea addict, and is the one who made tea boom in Britain when she married Charles II in 1662. But it is hard to say this is the only reason. There is an interesting story here. When she first arrived to England, she brought with her packets of loose tea in crates labelled Transporte de Ervas Aromáticas, which means transport of herbs, aromatics. Some people say that tea is an abbreviation for this. T-E-A, tea. But it doesn't seem so credible.
There are two ways of pronouncing tea in China or in India or in other parts like Russia, in Korea or in Turkey. It's all pronounced cha or chai. But then in a kind of European concepts, it's like tea or different tea. One theory is that those who were called tea the tea actually was transported from China or from Asia through the sea, because tea was the original dialect in Southeast China or the Fujian areas. They called tea. So that's then you see the indication that actually that was where the tea originated from. But then for the chai, they said it was transported through the land or the Silk Road. India is called chai and China is called cha. So and Korean is called cha. So it's basically it was transported by land.
Recent discovery says there is only two terms for tea in China, cha in Mandarin and te in Fujian. Cha spread through towards the Central Asia by land, but te went overseas towards the Western countries from Fujian areas. Therefore, almost every Western country is called tea, tea. After hundreds of years, which tea do you think British people would like the most today?
I normally drink black tea because I like it strong.
Mostly black tea.
Fruity teas.
Green tea.
Welsh brew.
Herbal tea.
Black tea with milk.
I guess that's kind of changed over the years. Breakfast blend is always the most popular tea, but Britain is full of people from all over the world, and they've brought their customs and their tastes, etc., with them. So the range of teas, etc., that are available to the country are far more widespread than maybe were 30, 40 years ago. So the choice of teas that people like is expanding as well. So breakfast blend, like I say, is still the most popular one, but we sell a lot of other teas as well. Green teas, white teas, fruit teas, a whole range of different teas.
Indeed, there are countless different types of tea in Britain, but people do have preferences. 84% of tea consumed in the UK is black tea, 15% is green tea. Among a lot of different black teas, breakfast blend and Earl Grey are the most popular teas in the UK. I know you all drink black tea too. What do you have your breakfast tea with? Milk? Milk is essential for a cuppa for British people. We've asked people all around. Milk first or tea first?
I think milk first is completely wrong, and it shouldn't be allowed. It should be banned.
I think it's a silly argument. I mean, some people insist you must do one or the other. I tend to put milk in afterwards so I can see how much milk I've put in.
It's just a way that they've probably been brought up to, so then you follow your parents. If they perhaps added milk after, 9 times out of 10 probably that's what I'd be doing.
If I were pouring tea from a teapot, I would put the milk in first.
If I'm having tea made from a teapot, I like milk in first.
So if you make it in a teapot, I think it's better to put the milk in first, and that traditionally that's what people did. However, if you make it with a tea bag, you can't really put the milk in first. So yeah, you make the tea with a tea bag, take out the tea bag, and then add the milk.
According to the online poll results in 2018, 72% of 73,000 British voters said they liked tea first, and only 28% said they put milk in first. Like Maggie said, people used to make tea from a teapot back in the day, so perhaps it was possible to put milk in the cup before tea. However, as people now tend to look for tea bags, more people put the milk after nowadays. Then, how about tea culture in South Korea? Koreans began to drink tea from the 7th century, Three Kingdoms period. 10th century in Goryeo dynasty, tea culture developed along with Buddhism. Until the 14th century Joseon dynasty, tea was used to respect ancestral rights, to greet guests from other countries.
조상들에게 다도는 사람들로 하여금 예의롭게 하고 마음의 공간을 넓히는 그런 행위라고 생각해요.
Tea ceremony in Korea began as a culture of civility and respect when serving important guests. It is a culture for respecting adults due to the influence of Confucianism. The tea culture of Korea traditionally serves special tea to honorable guests.
한 송이를 띄었을 때 피는 모습이 너무 아름답고 향도 좋고 그 다음에 선물하기도 좋은 차로 알고 있어요.
We normally see that the green tea will be a full leaf and you put the hot water in it and you wait that the tea leaves kind of come up to the surface, then you start to appreciate it. That's kind of thing that often very happen in Korea and in Japan. And we see all those tea ceremonies is very much appreciate the leaves, the shape of the leaves and the color of the tea water. But on the other hand, the Britain kind of appreciate the red tea, and we appreciate not for the shape of the leaves, but for the very heavy or sometimes smoky taste.
Then, how much tea do Koreans drink these days?
커피 좋아해요.
커피를 더 좋아해요.
저는 차를 더 좋아해요.
커피 좋아합니다.
커피를 하루에 한 3잔, 4잔.
According to the survey of 500 people, Korean people drink coffee more than tea.
일단 이건 개인적인 거지만 카페에 가면 커피가 더 싸요.
일단은 차를 마시는 공간 자체가 굉장히 많이 없는 것 같아요. 차 자체를 마시는 공간이 뭐 서울에서만 해도 인사동이나 어떤 그런 특정한 공간을 찾아서 가야 된다는 이미지가 많고,
예전에는 차 생산지에서 차를 많이 재배를 했고요. 근데 저희가 그 차 문화가 아주 용성한 시기에도 있었어요. 조선 초기에는 대단히 발전을 했었고, 그 후기에 들어오면서 전쟁이 많이 일어나서 조공으로 차를 바치게 됐었어요. 그리고 임진왜란으로 인해서 도공들이 많이 끌려가면서 아무래도 차 문화가 일본으로 많이 갔고요.
Yes, coffee is the winner. Tea culture here is quite different to British culture.
네? 차에 우유를 넣는다고요?
차에 우유 넣는다고요?
저는 차에 우유 안 넣어 먹어요.
우리나라는 좀 깔끔한 거를 더 선호하는 것 같아요. 뒷맛이, 우유 맛이 많이 안 느껴지고.
그 대역종으로 홍차를 만들잖아요. 근데 이제 물론 이제 소육종으로 만드는 홍차도 있지만 그 홍차는 떫은 맛이 강하죠. 쓰고 떫은 맛을 설탕이나 또는 꿀 아니면 밀크, 우유를 이용해서 이렇게 희석해서 마시면 되게 부드러워지거든요. 그래서 그렇게 마셨던 거에 반해서 한국은 아주 작은 소육종으로 차를 만들어요. 그래서 낮은 온도로 차를 우려서 그 향을 즐기기 때문에 우유랑은 좀 맞지는 않죠.
Most Koreans drink tea based on green tea and other herbal teas. Then, when do they drink tea?
차 하면 좀 아플 때 먹는 이미지가 제일 커요. 감기 걸릴 때 모가차 먹고, 그러니까 소화 안 될 때 매실차 먹고.
차가 목 아플 때 먹으면 좋아가지고 목 아플 때 차를 자주 마시곤 합니다.
저는 차를 마시지 않는데요. 저희 부모님도 차를 마시지 않지만 손님들이 오시면은 차를 대접해드리고 있어요.
저는 평상시에는 차를 많이 마시진 않고요. 보통 뭐 아플 때, 열나거나 기침할 때 생강을 꿀에다가 청으로 담아서 그거를 따뜻한 물에 해서 차를 가끔씩 마십니다.
Currently, tea has a strong image of health, efficacy, and tradition in Korea, and has developed into various fields, although it is not consumed as routinely as in Britain. It can be said that Korean teas have changed to be healthier rather than traditional tea, such as teas Yu-ja-cha and Mo-gwa-cha, which is like jam, but much more thicker in texture. The way the British and the Koreans drink tea is different, but tea means something to both countries. For British people, tea makes them feel warm and comfortable, but to Koreans it has become more of a health drink.
It's comforting, and it's something that people tend to reach for when they have crisis, when there's a problem. People always say, okay, let's put the kettle on, let's have a cup of tea. It's something that people do together. It's something that people do by themselves.
I think tea to me is like a way to sort of socialise with people, and it just relaxes you both, and then you can just talk about so many things.
The feeling you get from drinking tea, the energy it gives you, and it's good to come back from a busy day, sit down and have a tea and just relax.
차면은 좀 기분이 좋아지는 달달한 그런 약 같은 그런 이미지입니다.
조용한 곳에서 조금 자기를 이렇게 평안하게 가다듬는 느낌? 휴식?
차 하면 일단은 이제 저한테 미소를 떠올리게 하는데, 왜냐하면 차로 인해서 많은 사람들과 소통하고 나눌 수 있다는 점에서 대단히 좋은 메리트를 갖고 있다고 생각하고요. 주부로서의 인생으로 살다가 한 발 세상 밖 안으로 이렇게 세상 안으로 들어온 그런 계기가 된 게 차였었거든요.
What does tea mean to you?